let us start by picking up where you left off on Tuesday night, which I have to say felt like a bit of a blast from the past when I listened to it back. You were clearly pretty unhappy. Have you looked at it again? Have you reassessed it? I know you tend to be a little bit more considered when you've seen it again and had a couple of days to think about it.
I couldn't put myself through watching it again, to be honest. To be honest, I don't really get like that anymore. So it has to be something unusual. And it was a double-edged sword. Cheers, you know, the fact that we didn't play well annoyed me. You know, when I've got my own standards that I try to adhere to. But then every time you see the decision again, the penalty retake, that's the one that galls you. And you know, I've had long conversations with the head of the referees, Mike Jones. He's flabbergasted. He can't believe what's happened. And there's going to be serious ramifications from it, but that doesn't put us back into the cup. And things like that shouldn't happen. You know, people can make mistakes. That's not a mistake in my eyes. You know, that's, well, it is a mistake, but you can understand how people can make mistakes. You can't understand how that can be made, that mistake, because, you know, if you watch the 4 penalties that were saved, that was the most correct one out of 4. So to just pluck it out of thin air, you know what? I had a conversation with you last week about luck, and you know, you can't get more lucky than that if you're that Oldham player or you're the Oldham team who are going to go through. You can't get more luckier than that. You've missed a pen. You should have to deal with it, and you know, you get second chances. So you know, I wish we always got a second chance to take a penalty. But it's gone now, and if you dwell on that, you'll just stand still and go backwards, and you'll do your mental health no good. So it's gone. Draw a line under it, move on, and you know, take on board that we can't play like the way we played, and we've got to improve on that. And you know, I've got to improve the squad. We've got to improve the way we play. I've still, you know, you've spoke to me after every game, and I've not been overly happy with what's gone on. You know, I know we're delighted with the points return that we've got, but I think there's much room for improvement, and we've got to try and deliver that.
Let's talk about fitness, because you were unhappy, maybe even critical of the fitness of some of your players.
I'm critical for myself, really, because you know, I pride myself in the way that I train the lads, or I get the lads trained, and it's always worked well for us. And I don't think I was mindful last year. We lost a lot of players in pre-season last year. I think at one stage we had 14 players on the treatment table last pre-season. So I was very mindful of that this year. I'm probably a bit too gentle on them this year. And I think, you know, it's you take them one hand and you give them with the other. And I think towards the end of the games we've not been showing the fitness levels that I want. And obviously players get injured, and you know, you can't criticise players for getting injured. As much as it annoys you, you know, it's not their fault. You know, don't go out to pull your calf or tear your groin or, you know, pull a thigh. So you know, you don't go out to do that. It's just frustrating. And you know, Colby's not as bad as what we thought. Hopefully, Harvey won't be as bad as what we thought. And you know, we'll get the same out for Saturday that we think can compete.
Can you catch that pre-season fitness up if you've not got enough in the bank in pre-season?
I don't think so. No, I thought that as a player. But you know, we might have to do some more physical fitness training as the season goes on. That's something that we never do. You know, we concentrate on the games. We don't concentrate on physical fitness because it's already in the bank. That might have to be addressed. We might have to do more physical fitness, and we might get allowed a lawnmower.
But a train, a plane and a lawnmower in the
Trains,
last
plays and automobile.
15 seconds.
It's not even a lawnmower actually, it's
a roller.
It's a roller. A Bull Mag 80.
Maybe you'll get an endorsement deal from the roller company. Well, that was impressive. We've been doing this a long time. That is the first time we've had a roller.
A roller. Do you think he got that from Bay City?
Oh. This is all staying in. You talk about the injuries. I know last year was pretty much unprecedented. Is it a concern that you're picking up little bits and bobs of injuries that are keeping players out for a little while? I'm thinking of Seamus Keneally, John O'Sullivan, players like that.
Yeah, it's always a concern, but it's nowhere near the levels of last year, which, you know, we were struggling to put a team out last year. And you've got to, as I said the other day, it's an occupational hazard, isn't it? Ronnie Barker porridge. So you have to deal with that. We've got lads who are chomping at the bit to play, so you know, it gives someone opportunities. Well, David Morgan's had an opportunity to play in Seamus Keneally's absence, and he's done really well. So, you know, it's not all doom and gloom.
I know you're not a big time frame fan, but what are we talking about in terms of those that are missing?
I think Seamus will be back in a couple of weeks. I think John O'Sullivan will be back in a couple of weeks. And then the bumps and bruises that we'll have had, we'll just have to look at them, but hopefully they'll be okay.
Back in action this weekend, plenty of things that you've not been particularly happy with leading up to this point. Are you confident of a reaction at MK Dons?
Listen, I always go in full of confidence, and I've got every confidence in that set of players. They're great lads. You know, it's not for lack of trying. Sometimes we're a bit misguided. Sometimes the roller comes a bit close. But I can't fault them. They're a great set of lads, and I just want them to get the rewards for how they play, and hopefully they'll get that again on Saturday.
That is surely the loudest background noise in all pre-match interview history. MK Dons will be different, won't they? The way they're set up to play, the style that they have, to a lot of what you'll get in League One.
I've just been watching them in there. They play some lovely football, some lovely 1-2 touch football. But we play some good football as well. And it'll be a good match. Last year, they popped us off the park. And we didn't really get going in that game, and we got beat, deservedly got beat. And the same thing happened to us at Crewe last year. But we addressed that this year, so hopefully we'll be ready for MK and try and address that.
We've talked about that flexibility in the past, that ability to play different ways or deal with different styles. Is that something that you kind of keep in mind if you've played a Crewe side who have that style? When you come up against a similar side, you know that you've done it before, there's kind of a blueprint there.
Well, there's a blueprint, but what we've got to try and do is we've got to try and impose our style on the game. So we've got to make the game about us, not about them. When you do that, you don't have to defend as much, and you make them worry about you more than you worry about them. It's like a dog having a big bark, isn't it? Really, you know, and you can win the fight by barking alone. So let's hope we can do that.
I thought we weren't going to get an analogy this week, but there we go.
I'm noted for
that. What's your view on MK Dons and the way they've recruited the head coach? It strikes me that Liam Manning's come in to coach a style and a group of players that's been assembled there, and to kind of play in the way that has been done before by Russell Martin. Is that something that not a lot of clubs do? Some clubs have done it very successfully though.
It's happening more and more in football now, that, you know, the coaches come and go, but the style stays the same. And probably the directors of football are the ones with the most power. I don't subscribe to it myself, but each to their own. I don't agree with the head coach title. You're not a manager, you don't manage. But plenty of clubs have been successful with that model. And plenty of people. It's all a bit European to me. And I think, you know, I can look back to the 80s when English teams dominated Europe, and then we got an influx of European players to tell us what we were doing wrong when we were doing everything right and winning things, and we started playing the European way and didn't have as much success. And that's not, I'm not being xenophobic or anything like that, but I just think that I go back to we arguing about the subs the other day. If what you believe you're doing is right, why are you changing it for something that's more fashionable? Just keep doing it right. And I don't think Accrington Stanley could operate with a head coach. And thankfully, Andy Holt agrees with me. So I haven't got a director of football breathing down me.
How do you think you'd fare in that system? Or
I
would
wouldn't
it
fare.
just not be...
Well, yeah, I mean, don't forget you'd have to adapt. So I wouldn't fare at Accrington, but if I had to go somewhere else and that was the way it was run, well, you'd have to adhere to them policies, wouldn't you? Depends on how much you want the job. But I'm not saying I couldn't do it. Would I prefer to do it? No, of course, because you want as much control as you can. And one of the things that, you know, I would class myself as a scholar of the game. And one of the things you study about is that a sense of a power shifting, and you know, you're never more as powerful as when you first get appointed at a club. You know, because it's the honeymoon period, and they want you, obviously. So you can probably not do what you want, but that's when you've got the most pull, basically, and that wanes over the period of time unless you're massively successful, like Sir Alex was, and you know, managers of his ilk. But you know, I think any manager would be lying if they said they don't like having control, because you want to be making the decisions and you want to live or die by your decisions. And you know, thankfully I've got that, I reckon.